Alhamdulillahi wa kafa, wassalatu wassalamu ala ibadihi alladhina astafa, amma ba'd. Fa'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Allahumma anis wahshatana fi quburina warhamna bil Qur'anil azim, waj'alhu lana imaman wa nuran wa hudan wa rahma. So my dear respected brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are now in the second 10 nights of Ramadan, and the theme is maghfirah, or God's forgiveness. And I'd like to talk about this in light of Surah At-Taghabun, one particular ayah in Surah At-Taghabun. And before I do, I'd like to say something about the surah and where it falls in the Quran. Because this Surah At-Taghabun is one of the surahs that are known as the Musabbihat. And it's a collection of surahs from Medina that really summarize some key elements of the Quran, some of the key themes of the Quran. And we'll often see that these surahs come in pairs. So part of this sequence, although they don't begin with the word sabbaha yusabbihu of Madani surahs, is, for example, Surah Talaq and Surah Tahrim. And there you see a pair relationship. The same with Surah As-Saf and Surah Al-Jum'ah. And here Surah Taghabun is paired with Surah Al-Munafiqun, where there, in Munafiqun, the theme is on nifaq, on hypocrisy, where you say outwardly that you believe, but inside you don't really believe. And in Taghabun, as a counterpart to that, is the theme of Iman, when you really do have belief. And so this surah in 18 ayats covers this theme of Iman in a most comprehensive way. And the first part of this surah talks about the different imaniyat, so belief in God, in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the prophets, in the institution of Rasala, prophethood, and in Akhirah, the hereafter. And then there's a call to believe. And I'm going to pick up in the second part of the surah, where now it talks about the fruits of Iman. And after the fruits of Iman, there are some signs on what to guard against in order to preserve your Iman. And that's where the concept of maghfirah comes in. So as part of the fruits, ma asaba min musibatin illa bi'idhnillah. This is the first fruit of Iman. That when any hardship befalls, that it comes with God's permission, with God's leave. We often ask, why is this happening to me? Why does this happen in the world? What did I do to deserve this? And if you have real Iman, the first response to any calamity will be ma asaba min musibatin illa bi'idhnillah, that no calamity befalls any believer except that it is by God's leave. وَمَن يُؤْمِن بِاللَّهِ يَهْدِي قَلْبَهُ. And whosoever believes in God, he guides his heart. And that's the most important thing, because at that time it's really not an intellectual problem that you're confronting, it's a spiritual crisis. And God will give ease to your heart if you believe in Him. وَمَن يُؤْمِن بِاللَّهِ يَهْدِي قَلْبَهُ. And this is a fruit of Iman. وَاللَّهُ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ. And why does it end with this? Because you want to know, but you can't. You don't know everything. He knows why this has happened and to what end. Believe in it. وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ. And this is the second fruit of Iman, that you have to still follow God and follow and obey His Prophet. فَإِن تَوَلَّيْتُمْ فَإِنَّمَا عَلَى رَسُولِنَا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ. If you turn away, it was the responsibility of the messenger only to convey. You have to follow. Allahu la ilaha illahu. And this is the third ayah in this sequence. Allah, there is no God but Him. وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. And so in God let the believers put their trust. And it's all about trusting in God. And these are the fruits of Iman, so beautifully summarized here. But now we come to some of the things that can take us away. And here it's very interesting. You might not expect it unless you know the surah and you know where I'm going. It says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا إِنَّ مِنْ أَزْوَاجِكُمْ وَأَوْلَادِكُمْ عَدُوًّا لَكُمْ فَاحْذَرُوهُم. See, it begins in the home. That from among your spouses and your offspring, there are enemies. Not all, some. And for some people, not for all people. There can be enemies. And there's a context as to why this ayah came down. where someone in your household, how could you think they're an enemy if they're asking you to do things that take you away from obeying God and His Messenger? So if they ask you to buy things or spend money, or to live a lifestyle that is not in keeping with what we understand to be God's will and desire for us. And if you follow that path, even if it's out of love for them, they have become your enemies. And so maintain good relations in the household, but not at the expense of disobeying what you understand to be what God has required of us. And see, that's where we come to the second part of the ayah. Because someone might read this and say, turn in enmity towards their own family. So you're taking me away, and they might become harsh. But how are we supposed to deal with this if it were to happen to any one of us? فَاحْذَرُوهُمْ. So beware of members of your family. Stand on guard first in your own household. وَإِن تَعْفُوا وَتَصْفَحُوا وَتَغْفِرُوا. But if you pardon and overlook and forgive, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Then God too is forgiving and merciful. And what I'd like to leave us here then tonight is with this question and this thought, that could it be that in order for God to forgive us, we have to also forgive those who may have wronged us? And so let us begin with looking at looking within our own hearts and see where we might be holding grudges that we can let go of during this month, and extend forgiveness to others, that the forgiveness of Allah may come down upon us. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.